All right, let's get right into it. We're about to unpack a truly wild story where a multi-billion-dollar crypto deal was allegedly at the very center of a massive shift in U.S. foreign policy. It's a story about big money, well, supposed backroom deals, and how a superpower's priorities in a really critical region may have been completely flipped on their head. So you have to ask yourself, how does something like this even happen? How could a private crypto venture, of all things, reportedly have the power to reshape the foreign policy of a global superpower? That's really the question here, right? And we're going to follow the money to see what the reporting uncovers. So our story starts with a huge geopolitical pivot. For years, U.S. policy in South Asia had a certain, predictability. But then, during the Trump administration, things suddenly seemed to reverse course. The U.S. appeared to cool on its longtime ally, India, while warming up to its rival, Pakistan. And this abrupt shift baffled foreign policy experts and left everyone asking one simple thing: why? To even begin to understand this shift, the reporting first points us towards Pakistan's massive lobbying blitz in Washington, D.C. It turns out the first piece of this puzzle isn't found in some secret diplomatic cable, but in the money trail left all over K Street. And when you look at the numbers, the financial disparity was just staggering. According to reports from that era, Pakistan wasn't just outspending its rival India in D.C., it was doing so by a massive 3-to-1 margin. That kind of money, it doesn't just buy you access, it's meant to buy you influence. And you can really see it here. We're not talking about a small gap in spending. One country's investment in influence was absolutely dwarfing the others. This wasn't just about getting a few meetings. This was a full-scale financial push designed to completely reshape the conversation in Washington. And according to the reporting, this spending wasn't just for show. It allegedly had a direct payoff. Headlines from the period drew a straight line from this financial blitz to a significant flip in U.S. policy, one that created new, much more favorable terms for Pakistan. But the lobbying money, well, that was apparently only part of the story. The reporting points to something even more unusual: a private crypto deal that threatened to completely blur the lines between personal financial gain and the national interest. So the reporting alleges a deal was struck between the Pakistani government and a company called World Liberty Financial, and the goal? To turn Pakistan into a major crypto hub. The controversy here? The company's deep personal connections to the Trump family. And this is exactly where the conflict of interest questions just exploded. The sources claim the president's family held a majority 60% stake in the firm. All of a sudden, this starts to look less like a foreign policy decision and, well, a whole lot more like a family business deal, where personal financial incentives could be directly shaping America's strategic interests. And the numbers involved were just mind-blowing. One headline put the potential windfall for the family at $5 billion. That's a personal fortune directly tied to the success of a crypto venture that was intertwined with U.S. policy towards Pakistan. But in geopolitics, you know how it goes. When one side wins, another often loses. So while Pakistan was allegedly benefiting from this new approach, what was the fallout for America's long-standing strategic partner in the region, India? The economic consequences were stark. As Pakistan reportedly received favorable tariff rates, India found itself on the receiving end of punishing new U.S. tariffs. It was a really clear tale of two completely different economic policies for two regional rivals. The pressure was just immense. According to one report, India was forced to hire a whole new lobbying firm just to fight back against these tariffs. I mean, that is a clear sign of just how much economic heat they were feeling from their supposed ally. And then, everything changed. A new administration took over the White House, and the policy pendulum swung dramatically back. The Biden administration signaled a complete reversal of course, and the message was sent in a very pointed and very public way. Let's just walk through the timeline for a second. President Biden is inaugurated in January. He speaks with India's prime minister the very next month. Yet by August, that's more than half a year later, there was still radio silence with Pakistan's prime minister. In the world of diplomacy, that's not an oversight. That is a deliberate signal of a major policy recalibration. So when you zoom out, what you really see are two completely different foreign policy playbooks deployed back-to-back in the exact same region. And the contrast between them is what this whole story is really about. On one side, you have the Trump administration's approach. It's described as transactional, reportedly driven by lobbying and personal business deals, which resulted in favoring Pakistan. On the other side, you have the Biden administration's more traditional approach, prioritizing long-term strategic alliances, which led to a swift re-engagement with India. So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, this entire sequence of events serves as a really powerful case study. It shows how these non-traditional factors, like high-spend lobbying and alleged personal business interests, can potentially influence and even reverse a superpower's long-standing foreign policy.
Which leaves us with the fundamental question at the heart of this entire story. In a world where global business and politics are more entangled than ever before, where exactly do we draw the line between a leader's personal financial interests and a nation's foreign policy? And maybe more importantly, who gets to draw it?